So why don't most companies invest in their employees? Why don't most companies have training and development programs and things in place where they can do education reimbursement or certification reimbursement? Why don't they, do something where they can train and develop people to make them as good as they can possibly be? And the real answer is that most companies don't really know that they're supposed to, or they don't believe that they're supposed to. So think about how most companies start. They start small, you go along, maybe you get a payroll person at a certain point, you get an HR person at some point, you get over 1,000 employees, you get an attorney in there at some point. So what happens is as companies develop, they're gonna see needs for things that come along. And if they haven't had a person from a training and development background come in and actually be able to make a change in their organization, they're not going to value that. Often these changes come from a marketing person, an HR person, a person that has worked in a bigger company before that has these kind of policies and procedures in place. And many companies just haven't had somebody come along and go, you know what, we're going to put a great program in regard to communication, in regard to coaching, in regard to succession planning. And until somebody has these ideas and somebody is willing to listen to them, then these companies will often have difficulty until they get to that point. Now, what do you do with really well-established companies that don't believe in this? Me personally, I don't work there. And I know that's an easy thing to say because everybody needs a job. Everybody needs money to feed their families and to support their lifestyles. But the truth is, we all have a choice when it comes to the employment market. So when you're looking at places to work, take the time to do the Google, Yelp, Glassdoor reviews. Take the time to look the company up on LinkedIn to see what people say about it. Take the time to research the company to make sure that where you're going is going to fit with the kind of ethics and values that you want as a human being. Remember, everybody just wants to get paid as much as they can get paid. And yes, that's the major function of going to work. It's an exchange of time for services. However, at the same time, your mental health is critical. And often a place that will pay you high at a certain point, there might not be any upward mobility in that place, or that might be the most you'll ever be able to make. Where if you move to a place that has a little bit more forward-thinking type of mindset, you can see that there's a road there actually for you to be able to progress and do well for the long term. So when you interview at your next place, ask them, so take me on the path of this position and help me understand that if I was to stay here for my career, where I could go and grow with your company. That will put the onus back on the person that you're interviewing with to go, okay, this person is looking to eventually move up. This person has some goals and they have some respect for themselves and they want to know how they can progress throughout their career with our company. It's very important then that you ask these kind of questions because nobody's going to do it for you. They're thinking, I want to hire for this role and get this person in this job. I got work that this person needs to do. I need to get it off my plate so I can do my work. That's how it goes from the interviewer's point of perspective. So when you're applying for a job, remember, you are trying to get them to say yes to you so that you can move forward and move into the next level of your career. So ask these questions. The interview is absolutely critical, but most companies haven't done this because they haven't had a person push for it and they haven't had a person actually come up and say, I can affect this in a way that's going to help the company, and they haven't really seen it happen. So whether that person is you, if you're in that type of position, or whether you want to go to a company that already has this in place, it's a great time in the interview to ask, tell me about your training and development programs. Tell me how you guys develop your people. That will carry, believe me, people talk at work. And if you get that out in your interview, when you're working, the word will get out that this person is a person that cares about their career and wants to move up. And do some things for yourself in your career. Get some certifications, get some education, get mentors. I can't tell you how valuable and free a mentor is to your career. And if you just ask somebody that you actually look up to, somebody that you actually respect, would you consider mentoring me for a year? Meeting once a month or meeting once a quarter because I really value your experience and I'd like to get your opinions on how I can progress in my career. And then if you just start with your goal and work backwards through your steps, that's the best way for you to progress to where you want to be. But most companies don't have this in place because they haven't seen it work and they haven't had somebody advocate for it.